Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sleuthing Eye-Opening Tales of the Past. Yes, right now, a few minutes ago, that was the past. So this show really covers a lot of area. And today, I have a special treat for you. But before we even start that, what is today? Today is Earth Day. What are you doing to help Mother Earth in your world today? Well, that kind of brings up who we're inviting on the show today. And I don't know if you're as interested as I am in the next group, but to tell you the truth, I have so much respect for Chet and Dena Neice and their family who came up with this idea of divine global recovery. And we're going to find out the history, the story, and how this all came to be. So I'm bringing to our stage Chet Neice, Dena Neice, and Pete O'Shea. Hello, everyone.
Hey, hi Marie. Hi everybody.
Hey, Marie.
I am just so grateful for people like you in this world that actually saw a need in the world. And, it took a lot to do a nonprofit. And I know you're an infant. You have just been born into this nonprofit. But I'm going to go to Chet because Chet, I want you to actually Chet and Dena, because it was your brainchild and why you saw a need for coming up with this nonprofit. Because I know there are a lot of groups within the world that do, go in after disasters. But Chet, let's talk about your business first. What do you do for a business?
We're a water restoration company. We're here local in Punta Gorda, and we service, Charlotte County and the surrounding areas. However, we also have a CAT team, which is a catastrophic relief team, which goes to natural disasters, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, so on, wherever we need for water restoration, fire, and mold. So with that being said, we go to hurricanes quite a bit. Obviously it seems as though it's becoming more and more. They're more frequent, they're bigger, they're more devastating. And throughout the years, we've been doing this since 2004, just after Hurricane Charlie, and we've seen a lot of devastation. A lot of places that we've gone to that were really devastated. And here in Charlotte County, we experienced it ourselves after Hurricane Charlie. Literally, we stayed not knowing what a hurricane was in 2004. Knowing what it was, but not really understanding the true effects of it. We stayed and said, we'll ride it out. It's not that big of a deal. Well, Hurricane Charlie went directly over us. And we saw the true effects of it. Fortunately, it was a small and fast hurricane. It didn't last very long.
And let's let people know where you live, because you live right close to downtown Punta Gorda. You're right a few streets off of the main area there, aren't you?
Yeah. We live right off of Marion or Olympia, right in downtown Punta Gorda, and they got
direct hit. Yeah. And so you know what it's like firsthand. And Dena, with both of you in Chet with 4 children, that was a scary situation. And how long have you guys lived in Punta Gorda?
I want to see, 25 years?
We purchased our home here in 1994.
So they aren't new to this rodeo. Just for everybody out to know this, they have been citizens of Charlotte County for how many years? The 25?
Probably 30, close to 30, yeah.
30. Yeah, where were you originally from?
I was originally from upstate New York. We moved down here. My sixth grade year. So and so I finished off high school in Lemon Bay, in Inglewood, and then shortly after that, I bought a house in Punta Gorda and married my beautiful wife.
And Dena, where were you originally from?
I'm originally from northern Indiana, and I moved here. My family, my mom and dad moved us here. I started middle school down here in Port Charlotte.
So, in all reality, you're pretty much Floridians all your life. I mean, you were
Yes.
young when you moved here. And I just wanted to bring that up so people don't think this nonprofit isn't, somebody moves into the area. Because with Pete, Pete's going out into the community, and Pete isn't originally from, I mean, he didn't live in here, but he lived up in the Tampa area. So when Pete's going out and meeting people, I have had this question come to me: who is this Pete O'Shea? And I said, well, let me tell you this: if he's affiliated with Chet and Dena, then I know that he's an honest fellow. I know that he's trustworthy, and I don't normally deal with people that I don't trust like that. And Chet, Dena, when we did Give a Day, Get a Disney Day, and I facilitated it for the Charlotte Players, you are the only ones out of 350 volunteers that came in that I said to myself, these are people I want to know, and these are people that I would want to hire for doing anything because of your work ethics and what you taught your kids. And how old were the kids then? That was back in 2010.
Yeah, they were in elementary school.
Yeah, and that was, and you brought them in, and I was looking at you making these, you gave the kids an opportunity to earn their way for a Disney ticket by doing hard work.
Yeah.
And you had them scrubbing down things, having taping up things. Truthfully, the work ethic I saw there, because I used to be a store manager for Kmart, in case anybody out there in the world really cares. But I knew how to facilitate a move like that, so I was facilitating that whole move. So I dealt with every volunteer, and like I said, there was over 350 volunteers that came through over a couple of month period, and you guys showed me who you were right then and there. And then after that, I've had Chet over time do different things, or if I need something, I'll call up Chet. Can you help me, or can you direct me in a direction? Not that I'm not involved with the CDBIA, which is the Charlotte DeSoto Building Industry Association, but sometimes you deal with people that you trust, which brings me to Divine Global Recovery. And that name is so significant because how did you come up with that name, and why did you even pick this? Because I know you were talking, you go into these disasters, but what were you seeing, Chet?
What we see, unfortunately, are people who, just like ourselves after Hurricane Charlie, almost in shock at what happened. Now, people who've left and came back, came back to their house being totally destroyed, roof pulled off, to maybe just some shingles, or maybe part of the roof coming off, but the water damage has come in and their ceilings have dropped, and there's everything in their house is turning to mold. And because most of the time there's no power. You lose power for several weeks, and as well as I do, anything here in Florida, or anywhere along the Gulf Coast, 6-7 days in this tropical environment with the humidity and water, and being stagnant, being closed up with no dehumidification of any kind, it'll mold up quick. And it does. It gets really bad really fast. And for people to come back to their house, and pretty much everything's ruined. It's devastating.
And the mental health of people when they go through that. And I think that's what you were seeing. Some people don't have insurance too, for one thing. Go ahead, Chet.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the scenarios. Are the flood waters are being more, they're pushing past all of the previous flood boundaries, and we've gone to places where they have never been flooded before in the lifetime of the people owning the houses. And I'm talking some of these people, 50, 60 years or several generations, and they said that it's never flooded that far. But we're going in and we're having to cut drywall out at 4 feet because they had 2 feet of water in their house. And when you come back to that, everything's ruined. All the water from outside coming into your house it's basically like a septic tank. Everything comes in as category 3. It's nasty water, and that's just their whole house. You just look around in your house and go, from the floor and go 2 foot up, and just think of all the stuff that got touched by water at that point. And it's devastating, because the problem is, if you're outside of a flood boundary, you're not required to have FEMA flood insurance, and your regular homeowner's insurance doesn't cover it. So now they're without. I mean, they literally have no insurance at that point, if it's a flood.
And financially devastating. And not only that, with the devastation there, you have to replace everything, and without the insurance, and to have anybody come in, and it doesn't matter whether it's your company or other companies, there's a burden there. And they may, especially if you're in different areas that it is relied on, their livelihood is relied on, even farming or anything like that, that their crops are all ruined. They don't have money, that they set out to be. And I know that you were in Louisiana and Texas after the devastation of the hurricanes last year. And you have another place up in Tennessee too, that you headquarters out of when disasters are going on. And I agree that what we're seeing around the country is such a change in the climate. And I know there are people out there that don't believe in climate change, but you're seeing some of that firsthand, where the storms are a lot heavier. And and our coastal lines, we were in the water well business, and unfortunately, poor Chet wanted a well. We were already out of business. We didn't have even the equipment. My husband could have done it.
Right.
We didn't have the equipment to do it. But when you're looking at that, before we retired, we were seeing sea levels rise. It changes in the aquifer down below. We were seeing a lot of more saltwater intrusion coming up, and the TDS, which is total dissolved solids, were rising in the ground aquifer. And for a lot of people out there that don't realize, when some of these cities are asking you to put in city water and sewer and all that, there's a reason. I know if you can stay off of a well and you can be on your city water, do it here in Southwest Florida, because we know what the groundwater is like, and that it's changing so much. And I know a lot of people fight that, but if you can, please do that. Now let's talk to Dena. Dena,
hey Marie.
You've been right along with Chet through all this journey. And where did the idea come up for doing this nonprofit? I know Chet's out there on ground zero. He's always looking at these people and that. Tell me how you became involved with all of this and where the idea came up.
Well, Chet came up, it was kind of a joint, both Chet and I just remember going through Hurricane Charlie. And before the storm, everything obviously is perfect. Then after the storm comes through, it's devastation. And you're looking around and you remember these buildings, and my kids went here, my kids there, and it's just a feeling of you're distraught, upset. You know, there's just so much devastation, and you just, it's bothersome.
And then with Chet going out there and around the country, he saw this happening all over the place
Yes.
and how it's devastating people's lives. So where did the brainchild come up with this nonprofit so you're able to go out there and actually get supplies and come into these devastated areas? Now tell me about Divine Global Recovery. And I know that's where Pete comes in, and we'll have Pete, Chet, we're going to let you talk about how you recruited Pete, why he came into the fold with you. Okay.
Well,
So you take
it was sort of an accident. We actually needed an additional project manager / office manager here at Neice Restoration, and Pete answered the ad, and I was.
Oh, I lost you guys. Where did you go?
Did we lose you?
I lost you guys. I don't know how that happened.
There you are.
But
Are we back?
you're back.
Okay. All right. Hey, we're back.
Yay!
All right. So Pete answered an ad, which was immaterial for what we're doing here at Divine Global, but and Dena and I have talked about doing a nonprofit for years, and it's never been the right time. It's either money or too many things going on, and it just nothing was right. And Pete answered the ad back in November. We corresponded back and forth, and what caught my eye with Pete was his background in social media, comedy, and he's faith driven, and he had a background in charitable things. And I called him on the phone and talked to him real briefly, and I went back, and Dena and I talked about it, and really thought about it, and we went back and forth with Pete probably a half dozen times or more, and tried to get together, and just timing wasn't right. And then it just after the first of the year, it just all fell into place. And I said, listen, Pete, let's do this. And he had a good understanding after our countless conversations back and forth, and Dena praying about it. We just did our best to figure out, is this what we want to do? Are we going to be able to do this? Or, there's financial burdens in the beginning, and there's a lot of other things, and it all fell into place.
Yeah.
And when it did, we just hit it. I just handed the ball to Pete, and he started running with it. So we're moving forward. God willing, everything works out, and we'll be ready for this storm season. And Pete's trying to create a local presence also, which is incredible. That we should always give back to our local community. But it's just we're trying to make the old saying, kill two birds with one stone, or whatever, feed two pigeons with one scone, whichever one it is.
Yeah.
But
yeah, go ahead. Well, I was going to direct to Pete, because Pete told me his version of how he came to be. So Pete, I'm going to let you tell your version, because everybody has a different person. No, you don't have to move over. You don't have to move over.
Okay, so he's kind of right, though. He hit it, but he's right. There's no such things as accidents. There's no coincidence. It's all God incidents, okay? So at that point, I was looking for a job, and I was literally putting out 100 resumes a day, and I wasn't looking. I was just spraying at anything that would hit the wall, And so I applied for a job that I'm not qualified for, that's 2 hours away from my house. And that was our first conversation. Chet called me up to tell me, did you know that you're not qualified for this job and that it's 2 hours away from your house? And I'm like, no, I didn't know that. He's like, well, it is. And then we got a big laugh out of that. And then he called me back the next day and he goes, you know, you're not qualified at all for this job we have, but you are qualified for this dream project we've always had, for this heart project that we've always had. And we'd like to talk to you about that. And he's right. It took about 8 weeks just to track him down. This guy's always on the go trying to make some. I was constantly texting him. And as other things were coming up and other opportunities for me were coming up that I was really looking to take, I kept coming back to this because I knew this was a God thing. I knew this was something bigger than us, something where we can make a real difference. And so as everything lined up just right at the right time, we had a Zoom meeting. And then he said, well, when can you be here? And I said, well, I live in Winnebago. I'll have my house here in 2 hours. And just like that, there we go. We've been going ever since.
And I know that you've been out in the community a lot. And I know we had a meeting, in case the world out there doesn't know, this is how much invested I am into what Chet and Dena have for their vision and that. We had a meeting because they didn't want to go about they were asking for advice. How do we go about this? Who should we meet? How do we move around? And we had this meeting and I go, well, one of the things is I would join chambers, which you guys did. And there's other locations and people to network with. And it's all about networking and trust, because people have to trust you out in the community. To even get there. And I know when you're going into disaster areas, they're not going to know you, from Adam. However, when you go into an area, if you're affiliated with some chambers from there's a national chamber thing that you can actually reach out to different chambers to let them know, hey, they're coming in, they're part of our chamber and they're here to help. And you do need that, because how many times, even after Hurricane Charlie, we have people come in and just rip off people. Yeah. And, and to come into an area to do good, everybody's in their mind thinking, well, what is it in there for them? And a lot of people, like even with myself, they think I do it for a purpose. I do it for a purpose to help people. I don't do it and I suppose self-gratification, because it gives you gratification, right, Chet? Right, Dena? It gives us gratification within your heart that you're doing good for other people. However, there's always people out there looking for what's in it for them. And that's our society today. Yeah. But what I see with you, with Divine Global Recovery, is you saw a need. You're still going to be doing your business, but you see a need going into a community that they're devastated and people are walking around in shock. They haven't maybe been through this before and they don't know how to, even like myself, ask for help. How do you ask for help? How do you, because it humbles you that you get to the point that you have to ask people, because you're the one always giving help to everybody else. Mm-hmm. So when you come into a community and those are it might be some of your leaders, it may not be some, it may be the poor unfortunate soul. What movie is that from, guys? Little Mermaid. I go into my theater thing. Yeah, not that I ever did that. But what I'm looking at, what you are trying to accomplish, and I know Pete said to me, well, we're doing it slow, like turtle slow, to just get our feet wet and to get within the community. We're going to talk about right now. I want to talk about a couple of things that you already have done or have coming up. And I'm going to bring up your Facebook page so people can see that. In fact, tell me what's happening here in this picture. I'll bring it up.
That's us yesterday getting our plaque at the Charlotte County Chamber of Commerce. That's Tyler, Dena, and I. That's their second oldest son, Tyler, who's our coordinator for our volunteers.
And he's in the room. Isn't he in the room? Where are you, Tyler?
He was there in the room a second ago. Yeah, he's camera shy. There he is. He's hiding over there. Okay. So, but yeah, that's us getting our plaque yesterday morning at the chamber for Charlotte County Chamber's breakfast.
Yeah, and there you have it here, Inspire Potential. And I'm looking here, and I know that in fact, you guys are.
She did a video yesterday, and there's Mother Nature. She'll be there at the event on May the 6th.
Okay, and we're going to bring up, I'll bring up the event, because of you have a contest, and we're going to talk about that too. You have a contest that you put together, and it's a Mother Nature contest, and with your wife there.
Yep,
And
that's
let
my wife
me
playing Mother Nature.
okay, and we're going to bring it up on the screen here. And if you look here, if you go to their Divine Global recovery, Facebook page, under events, they have the Mother Nature Art Contest. It's going to be held Thursday, May 6th at 5 p.m. at the Punta Gorda Social Club, which is new. The Punta Gorda Social Club is
Social house.
Social
PG
house.
Social house.
Yeah. It's on the corner of Marion and Sullivan.
Right.
So, and that's actually pretty much an outdoor. I have not been in it because it's brand new, and I didn't know where it was originally until I've started to be able to go down into Punta Gorda right now because I have both my shots. Anyhow, tell us a little bit more about this and how can people enter this?
Sure. Well, we mentioned it before that we want to be good stewards of our environment. Flooding over the last 10 years has gone from a $6 billion a year problem to a $10 billion a year problem. And so we feel it's necessary to talk about Mother Nature. So we decided, let's have an art contest. So we're going to have an art contest. Anybody can enter if you're 12 years and up, and you can do a painting, a drawing, or a photograph, as long as it's 11.5 by 17 or smaller. You turn it in over there to PG Social House no later than May the 5th, the day before the event. And then that night we'll judge and we'll have 3 winners. And we'll have prizes for the 3 winners. And it's basically, so what do you think Mother Nature looks like to you? What does it mean to you? We want you to put that in a family-friendly, either painting, drawing, or photograph. Everybody will come out that night. And then we're going to do an environmental project where we'll go do a cleanup as well, to tie in the whole idea of Mother Nature. We've got a wonderful crew of volunteers who are ready to get out there and clean up our area and take care of our environment, take care of our community. So that's our goal, to tie those 2 things together and get started. So we're really looking forward to it. Thursday, May the 6th at PG Social House from 5 to 7. Everybody come on out, bring your favorite picture of or painting or a drawing you've done of Mother Nature. And it's just going to be a great event. And it's an awesome place, PG Social House, the best shakes you've ever had in your whole life, a beautiful outdoor garden. That's where we'll be having the event. And we're really excited that we're partnering with them for our first event. And we've got other really cool events coming up too. We're going to do a storm preparation seminar at the Military Museum in June. And then we're also going to be doing something with the lovely people at Valerie's house. We're going to do a mental health / grief seminar with them over the summer. So we're excited to be able to be partnering with other nonprofits and other local businesses here in the Punta Gorda area as we all build together, make a nice coalition where we're making a difference in our community.
And I have to say to you, that is really a great thing to do, especially with today being Earth Day. We're talking about environmental things. And not only that, giving people opportunity to express themselves and maybe win a few prizes. What are the prizes?
It's going to be some nice art supply kits. So the 3 winners will get some nice art supplies so they can continue their drawing or painting, whatever it is that they're into. So we have 3 nice little kits that we're going to give out for first, second, and third place prizes. And everybody gets a chance to vote when you come on out. We'll vote for the first hour, and then we'll give out our prizes. We've got a little presentation that night as well. We're looking forward to it.
And when you're doing that, is there a cost, a charge? Because a lot of times when you do art projects or submit to these different things,
there's no charge for this. This wasn't a fundraiser. This was just for us to come on out and meet everybody, get our first event together. It's more of a recruitment drive for volunteers and that kind of thing. So we're not asking for donations at this time, and we don't want anybody to not be able to be in the art contest if they don't have money. So it's free for everybody to enter, and the prizes and everything like that is all going to be paid for already. So just come draw, just come paint. Even I'm doing it. I went out yesterday. I got a really good picture that I'm entering. We're all entering something cool. What does Mother Nature mean to you? If you think of Mother Nature, what does that mean? What does that conjure up in your mind? Family friendly, of course. And again, we got some great drawings and paintings already turned in that are fantastic stuff. So we're looking forward to see how many people are going to express themselves in how many different ways as to what Mother Nature means to them.
And there's a signature drink that's going to be served that evening, correct?
I believe they're working on a Mother Nature shake. Now, they're wonderful what they do over there at PG Social House. For their different events, they invent specialty shakes just for that night. They had an event with the Girl Scouts a while back, and they made the Samoa and the other kind of and the Thin Mint cookie shakes for them that night. So I'm excited to see what they're going to come up with for that night. Their shakes are outstanding. I don't know if you've ever seen them, Marie, but there's a whole piece of cake on top of the shake, and then a candy, and then another, and it's like this big, and they're fantastic shakes. It's got its own current in it. Their shakes. That's how big that is. It has its own current, and they're just fantastic.
Well, I am trying to plan to be there that night. I really am.
All right.
I'm that is one of my goals, is to be at that event that night. So in case anybody does want to come out and hasn't seen me for a while, because I have a lot of friends in the community, that would be the time to do it, because that I'll be there. Now let's go back to the heart of the nature. Now let's talk about your kids, Dena and Chet. And we'll go back to everything, but you have your kids involved in Divine Global Recovery.
Yes, they're all actually the idea of what we were going to call it, name it, our nonprofit organization. My son Chet actually came up with the idea of Divine Global Recovery, and then he actually designed
our logo.
I'm gonna get on there.
I can bring it up. Yeah, I can bring it up on screen. Yeah, it's this one, right? Is that it?
Yeah, this is it right here.
Okay. Is this it?
Yes.
No.
No,
This is
right here in my shirt.
Oh, okay.
This is actually, these are the shirts that all our volunteers will be wearing.
Yeah, and Chet Jr. did an outstanding job, made our logo. It looks fantastic.
Okay, so I'm trying to find that on your website, on your Facebook page. Do you have that on your Facebook page?
It is, yes. Yes, it is. There's a photo of it there.
Okay, so I will try to locate it.
As you're looking at, I'll also tell you that the wonderful flyer we made for our first event, their other son, Sean, made that. And then our 3D keychains and all the cool stuff we'll be giving out that night. Tyler, their other son, made that. And then our poster board and all of our presentation for that night, their daughter Ashley and her friends have made that for us. So the entire Neice family has been in on it and helping and putting their creativity to the forefront. And that's what's making it so exciting, seeing everybody's little bit of a quarter idea becomes another quarter of idea and so on. And this wonderful creativity is flowing through the whole team we have.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It all comes down to their hearts, though, Marie. The heart of this family, the Neice family. That's why I came here. I had opportunity. I could have gone wherever I wanted to. I came here because of these two people's hearts and their wonderful children. They're fantastic parents. They got fantastic kids. And the six of them together, and the dogs, too. I don't want to forget the dogs. Have become this family for all of us and have shown us how to give. Have shown us how to love. Have shown us all how to make a difference. And doing it all together, them as a family, and then all of us coming together as a family, has been truly rewarding and fantastic. And it's just a wonderful thing to get started when we're doing this nonprofit where everybody in the whole family is participating together. It's very exciting.
And Pete, I got back feed on that. When you're moving, you've been out in the community a lot now. You've been trying to meet people and get out there to participate in different things. What are you finding here in Punta Gorda? Because Punta Gorda, and I live in Charlotte County. I don't live in Punta Gorda because you got to cross the bridge. That's just for people out there that'll laugh because they know that you can't get the people from Punta Gorda to cross the bridge. I was on the committee for Charlotte County at one time, and I was on the over the bridge committee. They literally had a committee for
over the bridge.
Because people won't go over the bridge to go to Charlotte, into Port Charlotte portion and go over the bridge to Punta Gorda, and then the Mayaca River, that bridge too, because there's a bridge going over there to go over to Englewood. I'm just saying that to add a little humor here, Pete, because Pete is a comedian. But you also were a radio show host.
was for not almost 10 years in St. Petersburg for an inspiration station. And then, so coming here, like you asked me, what am I finding here? I'm finding a lot of inspiration. Where there are a lot of nonprofits here in the area, and all of them want to lock arms together. We've met in the last couple of days with Habitat for Humanity, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Valerie's House, Chelsea's Place, all kinds of people that want to work together, that all want to say, hey, let's be a team. Let's work together. Let's lock arms now. We're seeing quite a lot of that. And the local chamber, they've been fantastic. John and the gang there have been great to us. PG Social House, all the businesses. We went around the other day with our flyer to 20 different businesses. Every single one said yes. They were very kind to us. They were giving us ideas. They were telling us they wanted to be part of it. That's an awesome community spirit to jump into. And now we're just going to try to see if we can help build it, get a little coalition going. We want to be known for that. We want to be the galvanizers. So we would get a couple of people together, and everybody gets a little bit of an idea, and all of a sudden we got a groundswell. And that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, collaboration is really very inspirational in this area. We see a lot of nonprofits that do collaborate because you can't do it alone. You have to come together as a community. You have to, and you may need help with something that they do. When we're talking mental health, and Divine Global Recovery goes into an area where there is mental health issues happening because you're devastated, and they need counseling, they may need medical care, or, but if you have some of those in your, like you're forming this in Charlotte County right now, as you go into these areas, you'll have a resource to go to in your home area that may have an outreach in that area, at least a connection.
Exactly. And you never know who that's going to come from. So by the way, I'd like to thank our city manager, Greg Murray, who met with me, gave me a whole bunch of resources to utilize. Justin Willis from When No Walls Fails nonprofit sat down with us for 3 hours and gave us all kinds of contacts and help and support. That's the kind of thing we've been so excited to see since we got out there. Was again, we went down to Valerie's house, had a wonderful tour with Christine, your old friend, and saw how wonderful the work they're doing down there. They help kids after they've had a loss in their family, grief of some kind, a parent's died or a sibling. So again, there's a lot of correlation in that between that grief and that loss. So we can all work together and help each other. And we're seeing that so far in such tremendous ways. Everyone has embraced us since we got here. Thank you to you for that, Marie, because
yes, thanks, Marie.
It's all been through your giving us the roadmap, so to speak, and how wonderful you are. It's pretty amazing, Marie. When I go to these places, I say, hi, my name is Pete O'Shea, and they're like, who are you? And then I say, I know Marie LaBrosse, and then they cook me a prime rib dinner right after that. The second I say it. The second I throw your name, they cook me a prime rib dinner, and I sit down, and they feed it to me. I don't even actually touch it. They cut it for me and feed it to me. So you have some pull around here, obviously.
And there's the comedy. Everybody, the comedy comes in. And tell me a little bit, Pete, about you, because I know that your wife has a nonprofit. When you're going through this nonprofit, because I know people may be looking for Divine Global Recovery, and there's a way for all of us to look that up. You're right now under your wife's nonprofit because you're waiting for your 501c3 to be approved by the government.
Right. That's right. Yeah. So we're 501c3 pending, and in the interim, we're under the umbrella of a 501c3 nonprofit that my wife and my father-in-law, Pastor Dan Fitzpatrick and Pastor Shannon Fitzpatrick O'Shea, started 12 years ago, called Life in Action Mission. And they went on mission trips all around the world. They've been to the Dominican Republic, China, Haiti, all over. And that's how I met the two of them. That's how I met my wife. She was a guest on my talk show. And we were helping them to raise money for their events. We did a lot of comedy benefit shows for them to help them raise this. So we learned from them coming into this, that approach, to know how to go up to the person who's in shock, how to start the conversation, how to be able to help them without making things worse. We learned a lot of that from them. They're really good at outreach. And this organizational stuff too, that we've got to do it, all the paperwork for Uncle Sam. We're going to get all that right, and we're doing it under the umbrella of a really good organization that I've been training with the last 3 or 4 years. it all kind of married really well together. A Christian talk show with a 501c3, and now this entity as well. It all just really comes together really well because it's just about making a difference, helping people and giving back. My life's been about that. Theirs has been as well. We were saying the other day, at this point in life, I'm in my early 90s now. I look pretty good for that, I know. I was the waiter at the Last Supper. That's how far back I go. I went to school with Moses. Anyways, with the time we have left, we want to do something that makes a difference. We're in the autumn of our years. We're starting our third chapter, and we all do. We all want it to be about making a difference, giving back, helping those who can't help themselves. When you see somebody going through that devastation, when all the family photos are ruined, when that wall where you charted how everybody grew up, all is gone and everything is lost, they need someone. They need more than just food and supplies at that point, Marie. They need a hug. They need someone to love on them. They need someone to just be there and listen. They need just some encouragement. We're going to set up a mobile command center at these places and have a stage where we can do some comedy or some music or something, some kind of entertainment that everybody can come down to and enjoy after being, through all this devastation. Food, water, and all that's great, but encouragement, support, love, hope, that's equally as important, and we'll be giving those out in equal measures. That's the whole idea of this. So it's really been a culmination of my life. I've been from a stand-up to this to that. Everything I've done was a training class for Divine Global Recovery.
Yeah, and art heals, and I'm glad that you brought that up because that is where my heart is. And I know a lot of people, they want to bring gifts and different things, but you are right, Pete. Somebody sometimes just needs that hug or that type of support for something like that. And humor heals.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
humor heals, music also heals. And just talking to some, just listening heals. If somebody's been through that, if you could just sit there and listen to them and let them vent a little and just be supportive, just say, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. We're going to turn this around. There's still hope. There's the dope dealers out there that'll mess you all up. We're the hope dealers.
Yeah. Absolutely. I really like that. That's actually a fantastic scene. And Pete, you're
such a dope dealers if you want, but if you really want to get things right, hang out with the hope dealers.
I like that. That's the first time I've ever heard anybody say that. That's good. Is that your own take?
I've been using that one for years. I don't know where I got it from. I don't think it was mine either. But you live from the best, right? You just take it out. But anyway, we are hope dealers, and you can give out hope. Hope is a tangible item. So hope is something you can hold. It really is, and something you can give to somebody else. I can lend you a cup of sugar. I can also lend you a cup of hope. I absolutely can, and we will. And that's what Divine Global Recovery is all about. We'll lend you a cup of hope.
Yeah, and we should be staying away from the sugar. That's what they tell us.
Yeah. We try to stay sugar free. Yeah. Me and Chet especially.
the belly here. No, Pete, you're a great speaker. You really are. Did you ever do Toastmasters?
I could actually teach Toastmasters. That's for rookies. I've been a public speaker professionally since I'm 23, and I'm now 30 years old. So, I've been doing I don't know how to do anything else. I was telling these guys that the other day. I don't know how to do. I have the softest hands a man's ever had because I've never worked an actual day in my life. I just thought I'd talk for a living. Luckily, there's always been funding available. Because otherwise, I'm in big trouble. I'd have to just come and live at Chet and Dena's house, and they'd have to take care of me. Would you mind that? I already live in his house. With my uncle Chet. And my aunt Dena.
And when you're talking about that, and where's your wife?
She's actually in the Mother Nature lair right now, getting prepared for the event. So she did her first outing yesterday as Mother Nature. Right now, as we speak, we're perfecting the costume for the May 6th event. That's what she's doing right now. Because, again, Mother Nature will be there at the Mother Nature Art Contest. So we're perfecting the costume right now as we speak. So it's just going to blow people's mind. And there will be free pictures with Mother Nature.
Oh, yeah.
All day and all night long. We don't charge for anything that night. Free pictures with Mother Nature. But everybody remember, that's my wife. So, just be very respectful of Mother Nature because you don't mess with Mother Nature.
You mean Dena and Chet? You must be laughing all the time,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Between Pete and my other project manager James, there's dad jokes and stuff all day long.
No, I understand, Pete, that you're looking at doing a comedy show for a fundraiser at a time down the road.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're talking about doing that in the fall at the Military Heritage Museum. You know, they moved into that new facility and they have this fantastic, gorgeous theater in there. And so we met with Gary Butler, the wonderful leader over there, their executive director. And we're hoping to do a comedy benefit show. It's probably like October, November, where we'll raise funds and awareness, not just for us, but for the Military Heritage Museum as well. We'll get some really good, clean, family-friendly comics to come in that I'm buddies with. We'll have a great show. We did 75 comedy benefit shows around the Tampa Bay area when I was there. We raised money we put roofs on churches, we fed people. And I told you that one show, they took the money that we raised, they flew to Thailand and they bought every girl that would have been sold into sex slavery that day. So all those girls are having a great life now because we told a couple of jokes at a church. That's the power that comedy has. And if we can get a full house that night, have everybody come on out, we can raise some good funds and awareness, not just for Divine Global Recovery, but for the Military Heritage Museum as well, which we love that place. We really do. Like I said, we're going to do the storm preparation event there in June as well. We're really liking what we see in all the other nonprofits in the area. So we've said many times, we won't reinvent the wheel. We're just going to walk alongside with them and try to just keep making things better. And that's what we can bring. We can bring a comedy show to the table. I've been doing comedy for 30 years, and I've got a lot of good friends who are good, clean, family-friendly comics that you can stay, kids can stay in the room, grandma can stay in the room, and everybody has a great night. That's the plan.
And if you haven't been to the Military Heritage Museum, that is one of the jewels in the location that they're at. The old Impact Center, which was a college, it was a master college at one time for people getting their master's degree. And with that, they have even the visual, what do you call that?
They have the virtual realities, and then they also have the simulators that you can get in there and fly those World War II planes. And there are actual World War II veterans there who volunteer, and they will teach you how to fly those single-engine planes in the simulator. It looked like so much fun. Cool. It really looks super cool. Anybody who's in the area, if you're looking for something to do with your kids, you're looking to do with any age group, that Military Heritage Museum is absolutely fantastic. It really is. And they opened the arms to us right away, too. We went over, and they kind of adopted us. We're going to be doing a lot of things with them. So you got to love that, too. Their heart and their spirit for the community is strong as well. Gary Butler is brilliant, their executive director. And they have, I don't know, maybe 50 volunteers, all veterans, who lead the tours and show you what it was like to actually be in the military. It's a fantastic museum. We're so excited to walk alongside them.
And it's a jewel that a lot of people have not been to in our area. And we have, I think, one of the highest veteran retirement areas in this, I think, the country. I think a lot of retired veterans live in Charlotte County, but don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure that I have been given that number.
We love our veterans.
Yes, and we do. And we appreciate everything that's they've done. Freedom isn't free. People have died for this. And even like with you, with a nonprofit, you're going into areas that people may have died. You're going to be going into areas. That's why I'm glad you mentioned Valerie's house, is because of loss. You may have loss of lives that you're going to be going into an area, Chet, after recovery, after a devastation. And with your expertise now, and I'm not saying you guys are experts, but you'll have the expertise of others, that the outreach of people that can bring into the fold, because making all these connections and being a network, it's going to be it'll become a network for everything, right, Pete?
Exactly. Like, for instance, we went down to Valerie's house the other day. They already taught us some basic games or exercises that we can do with people to help them get over grief. So already, just by having one meeting with them, we learned something tangible we can take out into the field. And that's why we're going to partner with them to have that grief seminar, because we want to learn from them on how they approach it, because they talk to kids who've lost a parent or a brother or sister. So they can teach us quite a lot. And all the people down there at Valerie's house are experts at that. So again, we lean into that, we learn from that, and then we can take those things out into the field with us.
No, I want to remind our audience that May 6th is their art project that It's a contest. Now, what is the phone number that they can reach you at?
They can reach us at 844-99-DIVINE. Now, that's one of your vanity numbers, so you know that last E, you don't have to dial it, but it's there, so it just sounds nice and good, right? So 844-99-DIVINE. They can go on our Facebook page, Divine Global Recovery, or PG Social House's Facebook page, and see the flyer, see everything they need to know. It's going to be on Thursday, May the 6th, from 5 to 7 p.m. PG Social House is at 124 Cross Street there in Punta Gorda. And again, if you're 12 and over, you can enter the contest with a painting, a drawing, or a photograph. It has to be at least 11.5 by 17, no bigger than, and it's got to be family friendly, and it's got to be dropped off there at PG Social House by no later than the day before at 5 o'clock. The entries that night will all be judged, and we'll have prizes for first, second, and third place.
And with that being said, you'll get to see me there too.
And Marie LaBrosse is going to be
there.
Prize in itself.
Yeah, that is your prize. Yeah,
that is the prize. That's what the prizes are, guys. You get to hang out with Marie LaBrosse. First, second, third place gets to hang out with Marie.
In person.
In person.
And I'll drink a milkshake with you.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So thank you to our audience for actually tuning in today. You've been listening to Marie LaBrosse on Sleuthing Eye-Opening Tales of the Past on WKDW 97.5 FM, Real Community Radio. We're coming out of the Bishop West Real Estate Mobile Tower. And our guests today were Chet and Dena Neice and Pete O'Shea with Divine Global Recovery. And this is their brainchild, Chet and Dena, and with the help of Pete, coming together with this nonprofit to help in recovery after a disaster and helping out our community as best as they can. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Marie. We love you. Appreciate you.
Love you.
Love you.